What's up guys, Chris from the Review Cave here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my very first top 10 video, and the topic, the top 10 best anime of summer 2020. Now if you like this top 10 video, I will do more in the future most likely, just dipping my toe in the waters to see if people enjoy watching these top 10 videos. Quick disclaimer, all of these videos are in fact of my own personal opinion, mainly because I have had to actually watch these shows in order to give my placements of these shows. Now I'm going to lay down some ground rules. In order for these shows to be in the top 10, I need them to have aired in summer of 2020, their first episode primarily. If they were a continuation from a previous season, if they started the previous season but got delayed and started up again in summer, then they will not count. And I'll also see that if series started in summer but continue on to fall, they will also not count. If the show does in fact take a break between seasons, I'll count it. But this is a list primarily for the shows that have aired and finished either their season or the show itself in summer of 2020. Now before I get into the actual list, let me give some quick honorable mentions of shows that I would have wanted to put on the list, but due to the rules I just said, they are not. Appare Ranman, A Certain Scientific Railgun T, Digimon Adventure 2020, and Fire Force Season 2. All these shows are great. I highly recommend you watch them. And these continuations and other seasons are really fun to watch, but unfortunately these shows were delayed from spring of 2020, so that did kind of hurt their chances. And Fire Force is going on into fall, so of course I did not place that on the top 10. But let's get started with the actual top 10 list. Coming in at number 10, we have The God of High School. Now, if you are a part of my channel, you probably have seen the review I did of The God of High School's first season, and those are basically my thoughts. I really did enjoy The God of High School, but the fact that it is so low on this list is primarily because while the action and animation are top tier, and the characters are very likable and fun, the story suffers due to the fact that it's 13 episodes, and they have to cover a lot of the webtoon in those 13 episodes, and that really hurts its chances of being a really great adaptation. If it had doubled the episode length, then it would have definitely been higher on this list because it would have had more time to tell the story. But unfortunately they did not, so obviously it's number 10 on this list purely out of pure hype, and in fact its fights are just amazing, and I think like at least a couple of the fights here would be the best of the year. But moving on, number 9, we have The Misfits at Demon King Academy. Now honestly I would have put this higher, but other shows were even better than this, so fight me. The Misfit of Demon King Academy has a typical generic plot where an overpowered main character goes to a school where they're supposed to train or to be used to find the next Demon King, his reincarnation. But the twist is the main character is said Demon King, but nobody believes him, despite him having insane powers. Now normally you would think that this is similar to like the basic trash of isekai or fantasy shows that literally have no plot, but The Misfit at Demon King Academy does in fact have a plot, and it's actually good. Its animation is honestly really great, its characters are fun to watch, and the storyline has an underlying mystery that goes out through the entire season, which has a pretty good payoff by the end, and does give potential for a new season. I know the source material has more stuff going on. I believe it's still ongoing. I need to double check on that. So we're probably going to get a second season, and I'm all for it. The action, the animation, and the characters are great. Story, while not groundbreaking, is still fun and leaves you guessing. Has a great mystery in it as well. So highly recommend, and that's why it's on this list. Number 8, Food Wars: The Fifth Plate. Now, Food Wars is one of my all-time favorite anime, and seeing that it got another season, this time covering the final arc of the manga, I was purely hyped to watch it. Food Wars keeps all of its greatness, and I love seeing these characters again. The story is not that bad, and this is following the Blue arc, which is essentially an international cooking competition. I love the new characters we get introduced to, some more than others, but I'm just really glad to see that this also helps put Soma and everyone through the ringer a bit, and helps showcase their skills as cooks. I highly recommend, if you are a Food Wars fan, then you will love this season, or if you're someone that just likes seeing people cook in a high-paced anime-like competition, then obviously you'll like it. But yeah, Food Wars, really great. I love the season, and a good way to leave off the series. Moving on to number 7, we got No Guns Life. And my god, was this a season that fixed all the problems I had with the first one. This season helps a lot with the world building of No Guns Life, helps give proper development for Juzo and the rest of his supporting cast, introduces some great antagonists, and even season develops some of the antagonists from the previous season. The action is better, the animation is even better than it used to be, more polished, the story is enjoyable, and it really does get the most out of 13 episodes. Which, in all honesty, if you can get a good amount of story done in 13 episodes without having it seem rushed, then you nailed it. Though it does still have that problem with sometimes bringing in CG animation, which there is times when it's just clunky and unnecessary. But No Gun's Life does some CG animated scenes justice. It makes them look somewhat fluid with the rest of the animation, that it fits with the series itself and its art style. So I'll forgive it for that. Which is why it's on number 7. Very enjoyable. Go give No Gun's Life a watch. Number 6. Rent a Girlfriend. Now to take a break from action series and put a rom-com harem series in number 6. I did not think that when I was first planning to put this list up that I would put Rent a Girlfriend in the list at all, but the fact that it's just so damn enjoyable, and I just really like the characters, primarily the girls. Kazuya being a utter simp, but also trying to be a better person in a way, really does make the show a bit more enjoyable. You actually see the guy develop a bit, and the whole rental girlfriend aspect of it is kind of weird, but the show makes it pretty worth it in terms of giving us what we need of this main cast. In all honesty, one of the main reasons why I like the show is not just the fact that it feels like it has the potential to make it to be a very good rom-com anime, but the comedy in the show is just great. Some really good facial expressions, some great jokes, some great slapstick as well. Aside from the characters, the comedy is what really bumped the series up, and the fact that it's a new show really does bump it up for me in the placements over the sequel series and some of the other shows. I just found myself enjoying the show more than I thought I would, and that's why I put it this high on the list. So go give it a watch if you want to see some. Is good cringe a thing? I'm gonna say it's a thing. Go watch Rent a Girlfriend if you want some honest to god good cringe, and also a surprisingly funny character as our lead. Moving on to the top 5 now. So with number 5, I put in Deca-Dence. What can I say about Deca-Dence? The fact that it got its entire story done in one single 13 episode season is just beyond amazing. In all honesty, they could do a season 2, but they really got their whole story packed in a single season, and I'm glad for that. The art and animation is just amazing. The action is full on enthralling and really brings you into the conflicts of the show. The characters are also amazing, especially our main character Natsume, and her boundless optimism really does help shed a light onto what could be a potentially hopeless situation at times. But the story itself gives you a lot of twists and turns that you honestly did not expect, even throwing you a plot twist by the end of the first episode and pretty much the entire second episode really does make you want to see what the hell is going to happen next. If I didn't say this enough, Deca-Dence has one of the best main characters and supporting cast members, primarily Katsuragi. The guy is awesome. Yeah, the story is great. I love the animation. You're just gonna have a freaking good time watching this show. Deca-Dence, highly recommend. Deserves number 5 on this list. Now, number 4, Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of Underworld Part 2. God damn, that is a freaking mouthful. They really need to shorten these season titles. But anyway, I had to put this part of SAO on the list. Now I know I said a series that continued onward from a previous season did not count, but like I said, if there was a break between the seasons, then I would have put it on the list. The first part of War of Underworld came out in the winter of 2020, which means it didn't come out until the summer of 2020. So, loophole, baby. But yeah, I put it so high on this list because the animation was great as always, almost no mistakes. The action was intense. We got some great moments and interactions, as well as development for our main cast, for Underworld in general, and the main cast. Primarily characters like Asuna and shockingly Kirito. He became an honest to god, decent to good main character by the end of this series. Gave me a lot of stuff in the terms of what makes up a soul, which is honestly one of the best things I could imagine Sword Art Online to do, because that's basically been its thing for a while. Not to mention this did kind of close off the War of Underworld arc pretty substantially. It was honestly enjoyable, and the fact that I was hyped to see how this arc would end was just one of the main reasons why I put it so high, and the character interactions between the villains and the heroes really does drive it home. I liked the ending, I liked how the villains got what they deserved at the end, and the fact that it leads up to a final season apparently makes it all the better. But yeah, SAO deserves the number 4 spot. If you love SAO, you will love this season, so go give it a watch. We're now on to the top 3. Number 3. Fruits Basket Season 2. Over the past 2 years, I have decided to move a bit away from the classic shonen anime with action and stuff like that, or even some seinen, for more slice of life stuff, some rom-coms, and apparently shoujo now. So Fruits Basket was something that had a lot of hype around it and a pretty good fan base. So I was like, you know, let me give this a shot. And there was an original, and right now is a reboot that fully adapts the manga to its fullest. So I figured, why not give it a try? I binged the whole first season, and I realized that the second season was already out by the time I finished, so I ended up watching that season, and it was amazing. Animation went up, the characters were just as fun as they were in the first season, even better actually, and each of them got their own time to shine, which I really enjoyed. Even some of the character arcs from the previous season continue on in a more believable fashion than the first season, which did a good job establishing these character arcs. We even meet some more new characters, which really does help with the final end goal of the show, which is to break the curse of the Soma family. We even get some nice plot twists near the end of the season, which blew my mind, honestly. And I honestly didn't think I would like a shoujo anime this much to put it as my top 3 of the season. Aside from the playful character interactions, the actual drama and dealing with stuff like depression and abuse that Fruits Basket does in fact touch upon, especially in this season, really did make me enjoy it, and it deserves a spot on this list. I honestly don't know what else to say about it, except it's something that I honestly had fun watching, and I can't wait for the 3rd season, which is apparently going to be its last. So I can't wait to see how things play out, and again, this season was just phenomenal. I really cannot stress that enough. I don't even want to get more into it without getting into spoilers. With all that said, Fruits Basket, great, deserves the number 3 spot. Number 2 on the list, I could have swapped with Fruits Basket at any moment, but I figured due to the nature of this next show, I put it above Fruits Basket. So, let's get on to number 2. Origairu Season 3, or My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu Climax. Now, in all honesty, like Fruits Basket, this was another rom-com series that I honestly heard a lot about, and when I heard about it, I was like, okay, I'll put it on my watch list. But then I saw that the final season was coming out and was like, you know what, I'll binge watch the first 2 seasons and then I'll start watching the last season weekly. And I loved it. The 3rd season in particular brought all these things from the past 2 seasons into a proper conclusion, in my opinion. It's something that I did kind of expect, but also the way it was played out I did not expect. And one thing I did mention with Fruits Basket is that Fruits Basket did make me feel some emotions, but this show, due to the fact that it was a final season, it actually got some emotions out of me, and yes, I did somewhat tear up in certain aspects, but the way it was presented, the cinematography, and the characters that have been developed in the past 2 seasons and throughout this final season really did make this spot, and why it's one of the best shows on this list. It's one of the best of the summer, and I really cannot express how much I like this show and how surprised I was at how much I was going to enjoy it. The quality of the animation, the character writing, and the dialogue really does play you into a really great show, which leaves you wanting more. But I do believe that this final season gives us a proper conclusion to this show and to the character arcs that we have presented for the main cast. Music was phenomenal, honestly. I can't mention the show without the music. Really great show. And it deserves the 2nd place spot on this list. And now we finally get to number 1 on the list. Yes, I had to put this on number 1 because this is a show that I have been waiting to come back for its next season for, how long has it been? 4 years. So yeah, this show was honestly worth the hype. And yes, I know I said I wasn't bringing out shows that continued on from previous seasons or was delayed, but loophole, ReZero was delayed before its first episode aired, so yes, I did put it as number 1 and on this list for summer 2020. So this season puts Subro in a bunch of more deadly situations than the previous season. If you thought season 1 had a lot of stuff that put the guy in some pretty dangerous situations and some brutal deaths, then you are not ready for season 2. And it's only part 1. This season got split up into 2 halves, and the second half is going to come out in the winter. Another loophole for this list. But yeah, this season, I can't even can't completely talk about it without potentially giving spoilers. All I can say, honestly, is that so much happens that blows your mind in the show. Bunch more world building, a lot more development for some of the characters that we got to see in season 1 that didn't get much development. And Subaru as a character really does develop in a very nice and reasonable way. And the shit that happens in this season, I honestly couldn't get enough. I kept coming back every week, because as it is with ReZero, almost every episode, especially for this season in general, leaves you off with a cliffhanger, wanting to pretty much telling you what the hell is going on. That's what you're wondering. We even get more insight into the backstories of, okay, this is a minor spoiler, into what the other witches are, and even the Witch of Envy. So yeah, if you're a ReZero fan and you somehow have not seen this season or knew this season was coming out, then your prayers have been answered. If you have not seen ReZero, I highly suggest that you watch season 1 and then jump onto season 2 as soon as possible. In my opinion, art, animation, the voice acting, the soundtrack, and overall the story really does make this the best show of summer 2020. Well worth the wait, the 4-year wait, let me mind you, but yeah, well worth the wait, and I really do believe that it deserves a spot on the list. But yeah, that's it for the top 10 best anime of summer 2020. If you agree with this list, let me know. But if you have your own thoughts on what your top 10 were, leave it down in the comments down below. Remember, this list was purely subjective. I've had to have actually watched these shows in their entirety for the season just so I can put them on the list. If there are some shows that I missed, then it is highly possible that I did not watch them yet due to time constraints and the fact that there are just so many damn shows to watch. So I'm sorry if one of your picks for the top 10 was not on this list. Consider it honorable mention. Let me know if you want me to do more top 10s in the future. I'm considering of doing more top 10s. And I'm also thinking of doing a list like this for fall of 2020. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the official review cave. And I really do hope that you enjoyed these new videos. I am planning on getting more of these out in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below, like I said, with your top 10 anime and what other kind of top 10s you want me to do. It really does help. And yeah, with all that said and done, I hope you guys have an awesome day.